what I found particularly interesting or very confusing is that what meets the standard for solid political commentary for a lot of Americans is so incredibly sloppily put together. Okay? Like, ironically enough, like I'm having a conversation with Nick Pollum here, right? And this was a very enlightening conversation for many of you. If you recall, that like whole day, that entire back and forth was very productive. Was very, very productive for many of you. You said it was enlightening to see like the average person's perspective on the matter when they come in with an open mind and are totally oblivious to what's going on in the world, right? And it was helpful for many of you as well, because there were probably some things that you were questioning, some things that you didn't know about either. And it took 4 hours of back and forth conversations with Nick Pollum, and like walking through step by step the how this conflict is unfolded, the historical significance and all that stuff, right? Nick Pollum is the average online understander of politics. So he is charitable to me because he knows me and he loves me and I love him. So obviously it's different. But if you are uncharitable to me and you have his level of knowledge, I think you can probably get duped by this stuff. And it's like incredibly disingenuous in the way that he framed the conversation without tackling a single piece of information that he presented. He just simply kept saying, these guys are bad. You should hate the bad guys. I like the good guys. And I think that I am a defender of Palestinians, but I think I am a defender of Palestinians, and that's it. I'm not going to explain to you why. I gave the donation, and then the rest of the video is just about like how outspoken advocates of the Palestinian plight are actually bad and scary. A conflation, a weaponization of Zionism and Judaism, a dangerous conflation between Zionism and Judaism is ever present throughout the entire thing. A lot of Islamophobia and a lot of like, well, these are barbaric Muslims. Like, look at all the barbaric things that they do, you know? All of this stuff was like, for my audience, when you see this stuff, you're like, well, I used to have those opinions, and then I actually started watching the HasanAbi broadcast, so I now know how silly that way of analysis looks like, right? So for many of you, it's not necessarily eye-opening or scary at all, but there are plenty of people who are apolitical, and apolitical people love to consume content on stuff that they want to learn about. Like, apolitical people love consuming politics and political content from the framework of drama. And for those guys, like, this kind of analysis, this kind of like hollow analysis is very effective. Right-wing commentary is so conducive. Right-wing commentary is so conducive to simply posturing from a position without ever really making a convincing argument, by just pointing the things that you already take for granted. Like, the average American's position on Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis is not going to be nuanced. The average American's position on Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis is going to be, these are incredibly anti-Semitic, incredibly scary individuals that just simply want to kill every single person around them. And if I were to ever like go to Yemen, they would kill me too, right? That's the attitude. That's a working attitude that many Americans, many Westerners have. And so when someone like myself speaks out against that commentary deliberately, by design, in order to showcase the humanity of every single person, right? In an effort to help Americans and help people in the Western world develop a better understanding of how these groups have formed and what they're fighting for and why they're fighting for the things that they're fighting for, and whether or not there is actually some semblance of morality in their actions, right? Against a much more powerful, superior force that is doing death and destruction, unstoppable death and destruction with our tax dollars. Like that is a really scary, that's a really scary way to approach this discourse for many people, Ethan included, which is why they work a lot. They spend a good deal of time, instead of tackling the argument, they spend a good deal of time just attacking the messenger. How do you combat this frame of thinking? I mean, I combat it by doing what I've been doing. If what I was doing wasn't successful, there wouldn't be this much backlash towards it. There wouldn't be this much like aggressive attacks towards it. The reason why there are so many relentless attacks is not because there's like real veracity to these claims, because the claims being made are simply, dude, don't talk about the Houthis. Just say they're fucking terrorists and move on. Like, what are you doing? Why would you ever bring up like what their goals are, what their aims are? We're supposed to not actually entertain those things. We're supposed to not actually think about those things. And it's actually interesting because the Houthis are now a prominent fixture in American political discourse and a significant part of American foreign policy right now, because Donald Trump just facilitated a ceasefire negotiation with them. And in that process, not only did Donald Trump facilitate a ceasefire negotiation with them, but he actually fucking praised them. Trump praises the Houthis' bravery. You know, we hit them hard. They had great capacity to withstand punishment. They took tremendous punishment. You could say there's a lot of bravery there. It was amazing what they took, but we honor their commitment and their word. This motherfucker is a steady room reader, dude. Like, there it is. He said it straight up. And he's not wrong. He is right on this. He is right on this. I know people will freak the fuck out. And I really hope that liberals don't actually look at a commentary like this and then freak out and lose their minds. Okay? What will Asman say now? Will Asman say, yeah, based? Will Asman agree with me now? Now that Trump is also agreeing with my position, will Asmongold also agree with me? He'll say, yeah, based to him while simultaneously chirping about me? Probably. I think the worst part of his video for me is how he's trying to convince that you're lying, manipulative, fake leftist that's trying to get people hyped on terrorism when he doesn't see that's exactly what he's doing for Israel. Exactly. What do you realistically think it would take for Ethan to finally see the truth of how he's conducted himself? I don't think he's. I think it's gone. It's over. That's not my concern. That's not my business. I don't think that will ever happen. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not think that is going to happen. I'm happy to be wrong on this. I don't care about Ethan changing his mind either. I do care, however, about like this is what I wanted to read to you, okay? This is important. Something changed. I just watched the end of the stream tonight, and I got to say, that was one of the moments where I said, something changed for me. I was a former H3 fan. I honestly didn't watch Leftovers that often, but I knew who Hasan was. When all the drama started going off, I had no idea what it was for. Since I didn't watch Leftovers, I honestly didn't really care. I watched H3 for the goofs and gaffs, not for politics. A few months later, Leftovers ended. I remember talking to my friend who's very pro-Palestine. When I would repeat the things Ethan was saying about what's going on there, she looked at me like I was crazy. And I had no idea why. I thought I was pro-Palestine, but the way my friend was looking at me made me take a hard look. I was not doing any research on the topic. I simply just agreed with what Ethan was saying, because why would he lie? He is my progressive king. He is literally Jewish. He would know. I knew Hasan was a leftist and was super educated on the topic, so I decided to watch a stream one day. It took about 10 minutes for me to realize how fucking crazy I was being. Ever since then, I've been watching the stream daily. I seriously look at the stuff Ethan is saying now and think, how does anyone buy this? But I do get why people buy it, because they trust him. Let's just say Hasan has changed my entire perspective. Throughout my entire life, I've been a fan of so many creators that have fallen off or have been canceled, and it seemed like there's been a lack of good in the online space these days. What really sticks out to me about Hasan and this community is the clear-cut, unwavering moral code. I think that's the thing that most creators lack. Realizing this gave me a whole different perspective on not only the content I consume, but the things I stand for in my own life. At the end of the stream tonight, they talk about how he deals with all the hate he gets online. Made me respect him so incredibly much. Seriously, so inspiring. Sorry for the rant. Just want to say I'm a proud member of this community, and I appreciate the grace, respect, and support you guys give to everyone, no matter where they came from. And this is it. This right here is why I think what Ethan is doing is purely selfish, but because I don't think he cares all that much. Like, I don't think he cares about like defending Israel and is like crafting this like nefarious Mossad-backed, carefully crafted propaganda against a prominent pro-Palestinian advocate. You know, I don't think that's the case. I think he's being used by people who might have different reasons as to why they want to deplatform me. Some of it might revolve around Israel. But overall, I think his own personal agenda here is that he feels wronged. He feels slighted. He feels as though, people simply don't understand where he's coming from on this issue. And why do they not understand where he's coming from this issue? Because Hasan has brainwashed people. Hasan is the face of pro-Palestinian content online, and he's brainwashed people, and he has made people hate him personally. Okay? And in that process, he also is slamming a healthy dose of pro-Israeli propaganda without even personally thinking about it, without even recognizing it. He's not checking his own personal biases here. And that is what is frustrating about this process, because there are a lot of people who are just going around misinformed, taking what Ethan is saying at face value, taking what I say at face value as well. But the main difference between someone like myself and someone like Ethan is that you can actually check the sources. Like, I'm not arriving at these conclusions on my own off the top dome, just making shit up. I'm actually showing you where the sources are. I'm showing you how I arrive at the opinions that I arrive at. And unfortunately, because this is always going to be a nuanced position that is not necessarily broadly represented in Western media, you can very quickly cut this shit. You can very quickly cut certain aspects of it. One of the greatest examples of this was the back and forth that I was having with Nick Pollum about Hezbollah. And that clip that is featured heavily all over the context Nuke, and that clip that has been used time and time again, the I have no issue with Hezbollah clip, has been used over and over again. And if you actually look at the full conversation that I was having, and it's an offhanded remark that I had towards Nick Pollum in the morning, even in that situation, I actually offer additional context that immediately destroys the way that he is trying to frame it. Like, that in and of itself is like, this is a perfect demonstration of how these guys approach the subject matter. And I don't think they actually realize, like Ethan, or maybe his fans don't realize, that the way that they are engaging in this nefarious framing is unironically is not only damaging for all pro-Palestinian advocates in general, but it can actually lead to legal repercussions, especially when you have this Trump administration that's perfectly willing and perfectly able and perfectly interested in undermining the First Amendment, undermining the Constitution, by using Israel as a way to open the door to further prosecution of non-citizens, and then also even American citizens as well. They just keep going. Houthis are musical people. I have no issue with Hezbollah over and over again, without actually thinking about like what I'm saying surrounding that, you know? Even people who saw other debunks of the nuke were not aware of the extent of Ethan's clipping. What is this? Hasan's context puke stream is so important. I thought I was well informed on H3 shenanigans, but my jaw is currently on the floor from the depth of depravity around E's lying and clip chimping. Hasan showing the full clip of him saying, even if rapes happened on October 7, it doesn't change the dynamic for me. A sentiment I agree with on its own, and revealing that he was actually yelling at a chatter for denying that any sexual violence happened on October 7 literally shook me to my core. I can't believe how this has been framed. I'm glad Hasan has had this opportunity to clarify his stance to a larger audience than usual, and I hope it wakes a couple people up to how colonial propaganda works. P.S. I'm still in shock from the clip of Ethan saying if Palestinians outnumbered the Jews, it would be scary and necessitate violence. I need the context for this because what the actual fuck? So yeah, other people that obviously tackled the context nuke basically took a couple high notes and a couple points of just misinformation that was being spread. That in and of itself is good. I'm glad that people did that, and it's great, and it's valuable, and it's important. Some people tackled the subject matter from the perspective of slop tubers and how slop tubers approach. Hold on. Kai is getting taken away right now. Hold on, I'll unlock the door. Oh, you're here. Okay, here. Okay. 1 second. Ethan's whole strategy is relying on common misconceptions so we can win by sheer number of laymen who don't know anything. Yeah, well, I have to go on a trip chat. All right, we'll get started on Y2 nuclear power.